happening in the world of sports, and with very, very famous names already crossing over from different clubs in the region, and not forgetting, of course, also those that are crossing in from the big sides and the big dogs are probably to talk to the rest of the angles. And today, of course, a lot coming in from the angles of course, different angles that have come through. Talk about the Star Times Uganda Premier League, the FUFA Big League, and in the regional league, there are also stories that are coming through right there. And this gives me a lot that we shall be discussing. Now, joining me is one of one of the sports lovers in the region, and of course, very many always confuse him. One, he puts on Onduparaka, he puts on Arua Hill, he puts on, of course, for the clubs within here. That's what he does. So we shall be also discussing. But of course, all in all, he's a sports analyst. And of course, I love sports as usual. We've seen him in different groups, even the classroom of FUFA. I'm seeing him in that group. So there are a lot of things that we shall be analyzing right there. But this very morning, we did see stories that came through about, of course, clubs not fulfilling in their, of course, club licensing issues that probably came through. I've tried reaching, that is one of the clubs, of course, Busoga and Arua Hill. Out of the 16 teams that had not yet completed club licensing issues, we did see Arua Hill and Busoga also involved, but the two haven't fulfilled in the requirements that were required by, that is, Federation of Uganda Football Association, and this have been given 7 days probably to appeal after they are not going to be included in the FUFA as fixtures that will be right there. So now 4 will be called info. You can stream live on Facebook, you can stream live on YouTube, that's where you can get. You can also follow us on 477 on the Star Time dish decoder, and you can over the star set that you are having, and then you can also follow us on the Zuku satellite, which is of course on 0073, and you'll be part of that. With me is Mr. Swali, and we shall be discussing a lot in the local scene. He has gotten to know very many. Swali, welcome. And how was the drum?
Thank you very much, Owen. Thank you very much, viewers. Good afternoon. Well. Drum was fun, and it was so interesting. And West Nile coming back from a goal down to equalize and winning the game with 2-1. It wasn't an easy thing. And you will really see that there's a very good fighting spirit from the drum game.
Why today in the Onduparaka jersey? I mean a t-shirt.
You know, I'm a passionate sports lover. I put on anything I feel like anytime, any day. So today I just found myself dropping on this t-shirt. I found myself putting on it. So basically, that's
all right. Of course, a viewer, I will say that you can interact with us on our that is WhatsApp. Probably you get to know what exactly is there, and drop your comments probably on our WhatsApp platform. We should be getting to you, and of course know what exactly. You can also drop your comments on, that is, the YouTube channel, that is of course West Nile TV. Just follow the link, and then of course be part of that. Your comments shall be read right there. So all that is what we shall be doing with you probably in the due course of that is the day. The whistle time continues. Now let's get back to what is happening. It's the club licensing issue that is so big, Mr. Swali, that every other person looked onto. We've seen clubs pushing. There's the club, there's the Super 8 that is also going. But of course, all in all, today, Federation of Uganda Football Association did throw a lot about the clubs that have not fulfilled in the things. Now, if you look at the requirements that the Federation of Uganda Football Association is talking about, you would be surprised that really this has not been fulfilled by, that is, the clubs in there. One of them is Busoga. Busoga has issues. Arua Hill Sports Club has issues. Now, we're starting from the home team. Of course, from West Nile, because very many would want to know what exactly is happening. That is with that is Arua Hill Sports Club, and not I've been saying that they may be thrown back to FUFA Big League according to the FUFA statement. You saw that, and of course, Super League is one big thing, and Super League with talks that keep coming, you would say, no, this is not right. So the fate of Arua Hill Sports Club, 7 days for them to appeal.
Well and good, Owen. for me, I want to say this, and I'm going to repeat it here once again. What I know is that Arua Hill is going to survive this. Reason being, from one of the reliable communications I had today, I tried to do my investigation through someone in FUFA who told me if they happen to succeed in as far as submitting what the required documents, then they are good to go by today. And of course, the FUFA licensing committee will sit and review their documentations and then see the way forward, and we give them the opportunity to play in Uganda Premier League. But however, you know, this all comes back to the aspect of preparation. It's one of the biggest challenges most of our football teams in Uganda are facing. If you look at the first phase of the licensing, when the first phase came, it was only KCCA that had submitted the required that had fulfilled the requirements for licensing, and that's why they were able to achieve that. But however, some of the clubs, almost, let me say, like 14 of the clubs didn't fulfill the required obligation. Of course, one of the biggest hindering blocks of Arua Hill has been the issue of the pitch. Pitch has been one. Two, the issue of the from the communications I got, they told me the other issue was the issue of payment of the players. So I was wondering, I was asking myself, why would this issue of payment of players be a delaying thing that would lead for a decision to reach that level when it is to be what? It is to be fulfilled. So it was quite a big challenge for them, and I know, in as far as what I know right now, what is happening at FUFA House is that I'm reliably informed that they are trying to work hard to see that they can have a successful appeal with regards to the decision that has come. However, we hope to see that they have the best and they're able to achieve everything so that they survive the relegation. If not, welcome to Big League.
All right. One of the biggest thing is about the clubs, and we'll be projecting to you shortly what exactly decisions have been taken. What about Busoga that has come in there? Before I give you also some of the statements that came from FUFA.
Now, with regards to the issue of Busoga, you know, these clubs are behaving like students who don't prepare for exams. You know very well that you're going to sit on exams. You're going to do exams at the end of the term, every term. From the beginning of the term till the end of the term, you are aware that you are supposed to submit it. You are supposed to have the following requirements available for you to do what? Licensing. But sometimes some of these clubs still wait until the last minute. That's when you will find they begin panic around, trying to run around, trying to organize themselves, see how they can do. A club like Busoga, I don't expect it to have faced all these challenges like Arua Hill, because if you look at the issue of the football pitches, how many pitches are there in Busoga region? There are so many FUFA standard approved pitches which are there in Busoga region. So the challenge with them will be, I don't know what exactly is their issue as to why they have delayed it to this extent. But of course, one of the biggest challenges I know that Ugandan football federation is, the football people are facing, is that the issue of finances. Most of these challenges are money related.
Let's start from Arua Hills. Now, the statement says that the status of Arua Hill, why they are either to be dropped, because the statement was like club licensing decisions on 2023 stroke 2024 14th clubs. 14 clubs have fully submitted the minimum club licensing requirements. They are being cleared for that is inclusion in the fixture or the final fixture of Star Times Uganda Premier League 2023-2024 season. 2 clubs, Busoga and Arua Hill Sports Club, have failed to submit the minimum mandatory requirement as per the club licensing regulations. Busoga and Arua Hill Sports Club will not be included in the UPL fixtures for the 2023-2024 season. Both clubs will be considered for the FUFA Big League next season. The 2 clubs have the right to appeal within 7 days of receipt of this decision. Yeah, that is that. Then now let's look at why this has come and the status why this could not be coming. One, why Arua Hill is still like that is failure to provide proof of governance and ownership of the club. That one brings in a lot of discussion. 2, failure to provide the club fitness coach with a certified fitness certificate. Okay. Number 3 is a failure to provide audited financial statement for the previous season. Number 4 is failure to provide a proof from the bank that this club CEO is signatory to the club bank account. Therefore, Arua Hill Sports Club falls short of that is the mandatory requirements. For Busoga, on 31st July 2013, by that is 700 hours, Busoga United had only managed to submit a few requirements. The club failed to submit the following requirements. 1, the club failed to provide a proof of the club head office. They don't know where it is. Failure to provide a certified assistant coach of CAF B. Then a failure to provide audited financial statement for the previous season. Therefore, Busoga United Football Club falls short of mandatory club licensing requirements as per the club licensing regulation edition 23, for that is the club to be granted a license. The club's readiness to take part in that is the FUFA organized competition first division is not satisfactory, according to the statement from that is the Federation of Uganda Football Association. All these were sent to their emails and later on, of course, published on that is the official handles of the Federation of Uganda Football Association. Now, with that brings a full discussion. Let's start with the home team, which is Arua Hill Sports Club in West Nile. Who owns Arua Hill? Should we say the rumors that have been moving about the ownership is real? Because I've just, in fact, in this session, we're supposed to have the public relations. That is none other than Adams Lematia, but he's being caught up. But he confirmed to me that this club is still under the stewardship or the ownership of Engineer Aita Joel, who is the president, the director, the MD of this very club, or the owners of this club. Now, 100% we know that is that. Now, where is this one coming in from? What is FUFA all about?
Now, Owen, when you look at the issue of ownership of a club, it's something that is easier to talk. You know, you can own a club.
Yes.
It's easier to own it. But when it comes to understanding some of the status, some of the issues as far as the club is concerned, trust me, it's not going to be an easy thing that we are going to see things happen. Owning it is another thing, and managing it and the affairs in it is not an easy thing. If you look at that's why you will have some of the subordinate bodies like the CEOs, the coaches, the technical bench, everyone will always have to respond to you and give you accountability of everything that is happening. And of course, Arua Hill, of course, has been in one of the most hard struggling positions in as far as the issue of the topmost management is concerned. Yes, when they came to the season, there were a lot that was already at hand. That was ready. There was a ready meat to be eaten, and they ate it in the first season. But when it came to the second season, it wasn't an easy thing, because remember, there were most of the challenges most clubs in our region are facing is the issue of financial challenges. It's a financial thing, and most of these financial challenges affect the club so much in the sense that once you don't have the finances to run the affairs of the club, it's something that you should expect will impact negatively on that. And then when FUFA is asking for who is the owner of the club, then that means there is a big question inside Arua Hill that needs to be needs to be clearly pointed out. Because when it came to the time for FUFA to ask such a question, FUFA cannot just come out of green to ask such a question that who is the owner of the club. You understand? Because when you are submitting when you are submitting documents to FUFA for licensing, all those requirements that if you have fulfilled them, you are supposed to be granted your what? Your access to your to the licensing body. But then if that does not happen, then it so happens that you have not fulfilled that, then it's quite a very big challenge for them on their side. So with regards to the issue of whether the signatures of CEO not being a signatory about what, for all these issues to come out, trust me, it goes back to the issue of preparation. As a club, you know very well that you knew very well that when we are going to do licensing, the following requirements are needed. So what has made them to delay to this extent that this issue is now coming to a point where you are being put on a task to appeal? And so for me, the issue of the appeal that they are supposed to appeal, it's appealing a decision it's always good. But sometimes we are coming out of the appeal successfully. It also takes another level of what? Preparation.
All right, it's one thing that we're talking about, and Rural Hill Sports Club has been called onto, and of course Busoga probably to appeal in for that. But let's talk about the statements from the bank not also being given. Should we say there was something maybe that went wrong, or where would the blame go to? Are we seeing the capability? Are we seeing any capability? Because this one really worries me a lot about the capability of the club CEO of Rural Hill Sports Club. If you can't do this, these are minor issues, I should say, because, okay, let's leave alone the club ownership and the rest. But issues like fitness coach, issues like maybe just like you said in there, issues like about giving the report, about the financial details in there. Are these really things that could make a club like a Rural Hill not to be to get license? Is there any seriously in the CEO anyway?
Now, Owen, there's something that this is just a street news I got around the streets. This is something I got around the streets of around the streets of the city. Someone was saying how true or false it is, but it is a subject of something that, let me just say it's a street thing.
Okay.
Someone was saying, at one point of time in Rural Hill, it is an extent whereby you will find that most of the activities are now being done by the coach, by the head coach.
And the head coach is Charles Livingston.
Charles Livingston Nombazi. Even sometimes, he's the one who ends up paying the salaries of the players. Now, sometimes someone asks himself, what could be the issue? Or where is the CEO? Where is the whole thing? Because, you know, when some of these informations begin flowing, that's in the streets like that, just know there's something inside that might be cooking. But that's why I'm saying it's subject to something that we cannot say yes or no, but this is what is there. But however, in as far as what I know, a club that is organized like Rural Hill, I know it can beat the deadline and handle some of these issues. Some of those in-house issues can only be sorted out within the house itself. So if they were able to sit down and harmonize some of those things, I believe some of the statements with regards to the issue of whether the CEO's license, what is not happening, what all those things. Trust me, these are issues that I believe if they are put them in order, they can be able to survive this appeal. They can be successful from the appeal.
Possibilities of Rural Hill surviving, of course, that is the appeal. I mean, getting back into FUFA Big League. Not only Rural Hill, but Busoga. Let's look at still what exactly came through. Failure to provide proof from that is the bank that the club CEO is a signatory to the club. I remember, I think it should be, should we say, Afeti Tony by then? We saw he had all these rights to, of course, run the club as a CEO. Was this withdrawn? Or when, of course, there was a change of leadership, didn't they sit down and change this? You at least have some bit of the law in this. What does it take to change signatory?
Now, as far as the issue of signatory is concerned, first of all, you begin by notification. You provide somebody a sufficient notification of the changes in the club. You understand? Like when Tony was still, let me say, when Tony was still the CEO, the then CEO of Rural Hill, of course, he had all the rights. But of course, when they were going to do, when I expect when the management was doing the changes in as far as the leadership is concerned, they should have already put notification to FUFA House or to FUFA that we are changing this and this. Some of these issues will have been flown. So that by the time this information comes out, like today it comes as a question, whether if CU is a signatory to the account or not, is coming out, it should have already indicated clearly that this was as a result of, or the following actions were done early enough, and the response to that concern will be like this. So if they have not done that, then that is where they have gone wrong. You know, in as far as issues of issues related to organization or a company is concerned, the law always guides each other, and as far as everything is concerned, they expect you to provide sufficient notice. Those sufficient notice, providing sufficient notice early enough, it gives an opportunity for someone to give you time to organize yourself. But when you give me notice today and you expect me to give you a response today, how realistic will it be? So that is quite a big challenge. That's something that I strongly believe that they needed to have sorted out. Just like as I said, something in the house might have not been right, needed to be put right, but they have delayed. So time has caught them up in as far as the issue of the licensing process is concerned.
It's a big one, or probably a big blow, but I look at these big minor things. A fitness coach making you not to get registered, audited. I think they have accounts, books of accounts that just needed to be worked upon. Those ones can be done in 1 or 2 days. You still have 7 days. Getting a fitness coach, putting it there, because I've not seen issues of that, maybe the pitch and the rest. That means they have at least a pitch where they're supposed to register, or where they have registered this. Also today, Federation of Uganda Football Association, by the way, released released names of pitches that are going to be used by the different clubs. Right there, I'll be giving you that in a short while. But at the same time, I want us to talk about the Busoga saga. And now, Busoga have failed really also because of one, failure to provide a head office for the club. Is this club serious? Just because of that?
Oh, I know sometimes some of these things can make people laugh, but of course, when it becomes a laughing matter, it's good to laugh it, because you can't tell me all this while Busoga has failed to have an office. Where have they been operating from?
Exactly.
Have they been operating in the bush or in the kitchen? Even if it is a kitchen, still that is an office.
Yeah?
Even if it is in the bush, still that is an office. But then the question of asking where their offices are, honestly speaking, some of these clubs needs to get serious, because where do you really conduct your businesses from? Where do you make someone to locate you? Is something that we really need to ask ourselves. But otherwise, it's a laughing matter. It's not an easy thing, but we hope that they can respond to it.
Another thing still comes to play. I mean, clubs failing to give audited, of course, financial statements for that is the previous, of course, seasons in there. What have they been waiting for? Should we say they have not been paying people and that's why they don't have the records? Because that's also one big thing. But can't you really give those statements?
It only takes an organized institution to provide some of this information timely. If the institution has not been organized, trust me, it goes back with such kind of reports. So it becomes a shame if a club fails to respond to some of these issues timely. Because every institution is supposed to have an accountant. The accountant is supposed to be able to keep the records, the records, the books of account available for inspection anytime it is demanded for. So if they have not done that, then trust me, it's something that we just say we pray so hard that they get back to education.
Federation of Uganda Football Association coming up with all these resolutions. Are they now taking the right path? Are they going professional, just like they said that they want the Uganda League to be professional in all aspects, and that's what they're looking into? So are we seeing them getting now to the professional bit of it? And if yes, we saw last season, Sports Club Villa, even games that started, they were not there, but they were included. Are you seeing all this coming in a professional way?
Owen, let me tell you one thing. I'm not surprised. Most of these clubs have been in the league for over and over time. And they are aware that at the beginning of every season, we must be able to fulfill this, or we must be able to achieve this, or we must be able to have this done. You understand? Immediately when the season ends, when the season comes to an end, and the new season is coming on board, we expect the clubs to be now preparing the necessary documentation, everything. But you'll find that all clubs go mute and they go relaxed. So it comes to the last minute, that's when they find someone becomes active, aggressive, is looking for documentation everywhere, here and there. That's why I tell you, when we hear such kind of information from FUFA, writing to clubs, explaining themselves as far as where the books of account, what, this one goes back to the issue of a student wanting to do exams when he or she has not read. The clubs want to be licensed to do some of these activities. So this has not been an easy thing, and this is something that I myself, I feel, I would say that the clubs need to first of all reorganize themselves. Why must you organize yourself at the time when you're going to do exams? Why should clubs behave like a student? Students. A student doesn't want to read in advance. So this is quite something that for us today we are discussing here, but the clubs need to really up their game in as far as some of their decisions or actions are concerned.
Yeah, it's a very big one. And of course, clubs have a lot, 14 clubs, and their stadiums have been confirmed by FUFA licensing committee, saying, of course, Express Football Club will host their game at Mutesa 2 Stadium. Wankulukuku KCCA will be at MTN Omondi Stadium in Lugogo. And then you have Wakiso Giants that will be at Kabaka Chiabagu Stadium. Viper Sports Club will be at St. Mary's Stadium Chitende. Soul Tilo Bright Stars will be at Kavumba Recreational Stadium. Mbarara City will be at Bombo Barracks Stadium. NEC Football Club will be at MTN Omondi Stadium at Lugogo. Bull FC will be at, that is FUFA Technical Center Njeru. Team Chitara will be at Masindi Stadium. Gaddafi will be at Gaddafi Arena. UPDF will be at Bombo Barracks Stadium. URL will be at Meta Stadium Lugazi. And then Maroons FC will be at Luzira Prisons. And then you have Sports Club Villa at Mutesa Stadium Wangulukuku. And that's where, of course, the 14 teams will be getting in there. Even Maroons and NEC and Wakiso Vipers are all set for, that is the game. Of course, you will even ask yourself, new clubs that have come in there, like NEC Football Club, are really have met Maroons. Okay, at least Maroon has been there, but NEC is a new one. They have met all the requirements. That shows the level of organization that these clubs are in. Yes, clubs always have downfalls that come, of course, due to here and there. But I think also it comes onto the seriousness of these clubs and the management that is right there to push all these things. And you will not want to see the kids manager do the work of the PRO, or the PRO doing the work of the CEO, or the CEO wanting to do the work of the club president. It's very impossible. So that's the thing. But I think I blame, in this saga, I want to blame the club CEOs. The club CEOs, I think, are the ones that have failed this. And if they will say anything, then they will have to throw the blames on the club owners. Maybe they were not facilitated for all this to take place.
Owen, let me give you a reference to Arua Hills. Let me just give you a reference to Arua Hills CEO. If you look at the CEO of Arua Hill, this is a gentleman that I respect. I personally respect him so much. He is a guy who is very composed, who is very organized.
You can respect anybody, but what about
one thing I want to say this. I respect him so much. If you look at the CEO of Arua Hill, this is a gentleman that has been in the football management for quite a long time. He has had the experience, he has had the ability, he has everything that it takes. He has had that opportunity. Now, for all these ups and downs to happen right now, just know someone may not want to have, like, let me say, tarnish his image in terms of like saying he has not done the right thing, he has not done the right thing. Sometimes some of the reason why some of these CEOs might be suffering might also go back to the bosses. If a CEO puts his request to the boss that I want this done within this period of time, and boss has not responded to it, what miracle do you expect a CEO to do?
That's a very good question. Understand? Let's take a break. We'll be right back to talk about this because we already in the halftime of our show. We shall be coming back. You can still drop your question, your mentions on the chat box on the YouTube. We're live. Go to West Nile TV and then, of course, follow the discussion there. For those who will not be able to follow from that is the TV, or you are not getting it right there. But of course, you will also go to Facebook. Drop your comments right there. We are live on that platform, and then, of course, get the best. Okay, let's take a break. We'll be right back.